F27. Read my partner's, M29, journal and I'm freaking out. Too long did not read. Boyfriend has OCD, journals irrational thoughts, he writes that he hates me etc. Before I start. I know, I shouldn't have read it. We've been together almost 5 years and he's struggled with his mental health, OCD, since before we met. He uses this journal to cope with intrusive thoughts. He's always been open about the fact he has it and he's shared parts of it with me before as I have a lot of questions. He is currently away on a trip and I stumbled across it, I was not looking. Curiosity got the better of me. Now I am trying to say to myself, these thoughts are irrational and it's not how he really feels. But it's hard when the journal says, he wants to break up with me and hates me, he's in love with my friend, he hates my body and I'm not attractive to him, his family hate me. This is just the tip of the iceberg. I just feel like surely there is some element of truth to this, even if just a small amount. He is in therapy and takes medication. I have overheard therapy sessions where he has said some of this but not even close to as extreme. It feels awful of me to address it, not just because of the trust I have broken, but I know this journal process is important to him and his recovery, and me mentioning it might stop him from continuing to journal. Is there anything I can do? Do I learn to cope with knowing this is how he thinks about me at times? I know it's not rational on his side, but I can't shake that there must be some truth in the statements. Edit. To be clear, I never purposefully heard anything in his therapy sessions. There have been situations where we have been in a hotel abroad, or we used to live in a really tiny house, where even with headphones on I heard bits here and there. I try to leave the house and give him space, but abroad or in winter, in a pretty bad area, it wasn't wise to be outside alone. And I say, stumble upon it. The diary is plain black notebook like several other we have in the house. I picked it up not realizing it was that notebook. Wait, so not only are you reading his journal, but you're listening in on his therapy sessions? His OCD aside, you broke his trust. That's a huge red flag from you. I'm actually a part of a journaling community on Reddit, and you should go see what happens when people break someone's trust by reading their most inner thoughts. People will stop journaling because of someone violating their extremely personal thoughts. Are you seeing a therapist? Because you should be going to one, too. You need to figure out why you thought it was okay to read his journal. And you should talk to someone about what you read and about his OCD. I don't want to be with someone who doesn't tip, is that wrong? I've been with a guy for over a year now, and I've always tried to accept who he is as a person, but he dislikes tipping and doesn't think people should be allowed tips because they deserve it due to finding a low-income job at a restaurant or elsewhere. He's 24 and I'm 25F. I don't know, it just bothers me. I live in the us, by the way. Language like, deserves it for, raises a serious empathy red flag for me. If he can't put himself in the shoes of someone who's struggling to find work that pays a living wage and has to work for below minimum wage and survive on tips, that's not a great attitude to have towards fellow humans. The fact is, in the United States, restaurants can pay their waitstaff well below minimum wage, as low as $3 an hour in some places, and the staff rely on those tips to make up the difference. It's not a great system, but it's the one they've got, and how somebody treats the people they consider below them says a lot about their character in general. My girlfriend is ashamed of my culture, background, and family. Hey everyone, I'm 26M. Having a bit of a relationship crisis right now with my 6-year girlfriend, 24F. So my girlfriend is on her yearly family trip to Canada for the last 2 weeks. I'm not sure what has been said while she was there, but she called me up yesterday saying that she is afraid of what her family will think of mine when they meet. To give some context, her family is white and wealthy. She grew up in a mansion next to multiple celebrities. Her dad is a doctor. Her mom is a nurse. All of her siblings pursued higher education. She just graduated law school and is starting a new job soon. I'm very proud of them. On the other hand, I'm the only one in my family that went to college. I'm a pretty successful software engineer and make a good amount of money for someone my age of 26. My parents immigrated to this country from Mexico when they were children and never finished high school. My dad is a hard-working man who always provided for his family. He works construction and operates cranes. My mother is a stay-at-home mom and an amazing chef who raised 4 loving children. I am proud of my family and I love them very much. However, my girlfriend does not feel this way. She is embarrassed to tell her parents that my parents never pursued higher education or have some fancy white-collar job. None of my siblings went to university and 2 of them deliver weed for a living. We live in California, so it is legal. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. However, my girlfriend looks down on it. I have a loving family and come from a humble background, but her and her family don't see it that way. They value career and education more than anything, which leads to harsh judgments on my family that I don't think they deserve. I'm not sure what to do here. In my heart, I believe my girlfriend should be proud of who I am and embrace my family, not be embarrassed about them and scared to tell her parents where we come from. Is our relationship doomed? How can I forgive a girl that basically looks down on my family for having a different lifestyle? She needs to accept this and be honest. If her parents are rude, she should stop them and stand up for you. If she isn't doing this, then simply she isn't the one you should be with. What with other important things in life? Kids? How would you teach them to act? How is she acting towards people who are poor? Servers? You can see a lot from someone's behavior. You may love her but turn a blind eye to some things. Think about it and see if you truly are compatible to be together. She doesn't sound very well educated if she has the gall to look down on a couple who came to another country and still managed to succeed and raise a family. Sheesh. I understand you love your girlfriend, but she is wrong about this and you need to have an honest but stern discussion before you move forward with her. Random girl accuses my wife of cheating. This episode all started yesterday night, when my wife of 2 years and I were rudely interrupted by a phone call in the middle of the night. We let it go to voicemail and it turned out to be a girl who did not identify herself asking for a man's name. Given that we both had no idea who the girl was, or the man she was asking for, we both chalked it up to some confused person with the wrong number. She put her phone on Do Not Disturb and we went back to sleep. Fast forward to the next morning when my wife calls me at work to tell me that there were around 20 calls overnight with 13 voice messages left. They started out innocuous, but soon became extremely aggressive, accusing my wife of sleeping with her husband, calling her all manner of horrible things. She also implied multiple times that her husband was dangerous and told her that she needed to leave the state. It seems she looked up a bunch of personal information about my wife online and rattled this off in the voicemail as well. We thought this may just be a one-time thing, however the next morning she sent another voicemail with a new round of obscenities and texted a picture of my wife's parents to her phone that was taken off of my mother-in-law's Facebook page. My wife never responded to any of the phone calls or texts. My wife and I both have never met her or husband despite multiple claims from her that we have. We have also only moved to the area recently, have an excellent relationship, and spend basically all of the time that we are not at work together. I fully trust that she would never cheat on me. We ended up going to the police, who were able to identify the person in question, and called them and left a message saying to cease all conversation, with the threat of escalating to harassment charges if she reaches out again. Unfortunately, this girl friended me on Facebook this morning and appears to be friending people who we are online friends with. I have yet to respond. We are obviously going to reach back out to the police. But apparently this girl is convinced that my wife is one of many women cheating on her husband. We were also considering reaching out to this girl to attempt to explain that she has mistaken my wife's identity for someone else, or just ceasing contact altogether and ignoring her. Any thoughts on the matter would be greatly appreciated. Edit. For anyone who is thinking that this could be remotely real, she listed off numerous occasions that she saw us at, that we were not present at, as well as accusing her of being with her husband on the same night she called, when we were at home together, sleeping. Do not reach out to her directly in any way. Notify friends and relatives of what's going on and begin looking into your legal options, specifically a restraining order. Delete Facebook. It will solve this and countless more things. Just keep reporting to police. This woman is probably out of her mind. Explaining things to her will only feed into her delusions. Block her, do not engage, and take everything to the police. Let them deal with her. Restraining order now and update the police on her actions and get a good lawyer stat. I would also install cameras throughout your home, inside and out, and make your social media private. Block her account obviously. You got a crazy psycho stalking you and you don't want to end up as a statistic. Good luck. #screenshoot everything.